Yo, we celebrated today, right?
Celebrating is an understatement. I'm ready to break out the champagne glasses. I'm ready to toast it up. Are you ready?
I'm ready. You manifested something good, right?
Listen, it's already done. I've done enough. Oh my. You ready to talk about this? I think they need to know. You think they need to know?
They need to know.
Let's tell them about it. What is up, you guys, and welcome back to another episode of the I Can and I Will podcast. I am your host, Sakira. This is the final episode of season 1, episode 8. I am, of course, lighting a candle for ambiance, and if you hear the rain in the background, that is just adding to the vibes because it is pouring outside. But listen, that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about my personal manifestation success story, the reason why we are cheersing, we are toasting, because your girl has something that she wants to share with you guys. Now, let me say this. I'm not the one that's really going to actively talk about the things that I'm co-creating before they get co-created in the physical. I like to kind of build the momentum behind the scenes and then just pop out with it, right? Like what it can just say, sometimes you just gotta pop out and show them, right? So that's how I feel. But you guys, I say that to say, if you're watching this on the day that I'm dropping it or after, that is the day that the manifestation will be officially set in stone. And I'm happy to share it with you guys. Like, I just want you guys to know that it's going down. And like, we're just going to get into it. I'm not even going to delay. So this, you guys, is my personal manifestation story. And we're going to lump this back. We're going to tie this back to episode 4. If you've been following this journey so far for the I Can and I Will podcast, then you know that episode 4 was where we was talking about, some things that were potentially going on just based off of the fact that I decided in my mind that it was already mine. I had already done enough and things were just going to play out the way that they needed to, right? Now, in that episode, I mentioned 2 different manifestation stories. We're going to focus on the second one. And just for kicks and giggles, I'm going to summarize so you guys, if you haven't watched the episode, you kind of know what I'm talking about and you can follow along. But if you have watched it, then you already know where I'm going and you could just listen in for fun, right? But the second story from episode 4 that I was talking about manifestation-wise was a conversation that I had with my uncle back in like early December. And he was like, listen, like, you've been saying you want to make certain moves, you want to do certain things, like, do you have a time frame? Do you have a timeline? Like, do you know where you want to go? Because the whole thing, you guys, was like, I was looking to move into a different apartment. Like, I just wanted to relocate. I wanted to change up the vibe. I wanted to, shake things up a little bit. I wanted to do a little upgrade to bigger, to better, to badder, right? But he was talking to me. He was like, let's talk about it. Like, what's your plan? What's the vibe here? So I remember during that conversation, I had never decided on anything aside from the fact that I knew that I wanted to move, but I didn't know when I wanted to move. I didn't know where. I didn't know what kind of place. Like, I didn't know anything, right? So I remember during that conversation, I said to myself, like, what would be a good date to just like relocate? Like, what date would feel good for me? What would that look like? And the date that came to me, I didn't share this in episode 4, but I'm sharing it now, was March 1st, right? So I remember I told my uncle and I was like, look, I'm feeling like March 1st is the vibe. He was like, okay, March 1st it is. Let's start getting our things in order. Like, let's line it up. So I was like, okay, cool. The next day, I kid you not, I checked my email and I have an email from this apartment complex that I applied for way back in 2016. Now, what had happened was in 2016, I applied. There was a wait list. So I was waitlisted for a couple years. After a couple of years, I forgot about it because I ended up moving into a different place. Like in 2018, I got a different apartment than what I had applied for. So, I wasn't thinking about it. 2 years later was the pandemic. I really wasn't thinking about it. And then, coming down, I had no interest in that apartment, not because it wasn't nice or anything like that, but it was out of my head. I wasn't really focused on it, right? But I say that to say, these people reached out to me basically 8 years later, like, oh, so you decided March 1st is your move out date? Now we're ready to come through with this offer for you. So the lady is basically like, hey, we have a unit available. If you're still interested, like, let's get this application process going. So I did the application process. And she was telling me, like, it's relatively a quick process. Like, once we clear everything that you submit, you can be in as soon as January. Because again, this was like, at this point, maybe mid-December. So I was like, whoa, like January is kind of quick. But I remember saying March. And I was like, you know what, universe, I always say, give me this or better. So if I said March, but you want to give me sooner than March, by all means, I'm going to take sooner than March, right? So I remember saying like, wow, like January is super quick, but okay. So come to find out, you guys, this application process was tedious as I don't even know what. And I feel like now that I'm looking back, that was purposeful. That was the universe saying, we're going to stick to your timeline. We're just going to let you think it's not going to happen according to your timeline. But as it unfolded, I saw like the delays were happening. Things just kept getting pushed back. And it ended up working out to basically the exact date that I said that I wanted. So I remember giving her like all of the paperwork and the, background information she was asking for. I was submitting it. And every week, this lady was reaching out to me like, yeah, so we need more stuff. And like, you sent me this, but can you send this to clarify what you sent? And like, can you go get this? And I was just like, okay. So it kind of got to the point where like, if I heard from this woman, I was a little bit nervous. Like, what else does she need from me? Because at this point, it's not like I'm calling to give you good news. It's like, I'm calling because I need something else. What else you got for me, right? So she was talking about as soon as January, but January's coming, or it's here, and she's asking me for more information, and then I didn't hear from her for about 2 weeks. So, I'm thinking no news is good news. For her to reach out and be like, listen, I need something else. I kid you not, you guys. I'm laughing, but it was a little bit like daunting because I'm just like, what else you need, girl? Like, what else can I give you? You want the freaking shirt off my back next? Like, what else? Okay, so I'm giving her the information, whatever. So the 2 weeks goes by, and she reaches out like the end of January, like, I need something else. So then it clicked to me, like, okay, January basically came and went, and I haven't moved into this place yet. I said March. I know that February is a short month. Like, what if it ends up being March that I actually get to move into this place, right? You guys, I give her the last of the information. She calls me back like a week and a half later, which is now into February, and she's like, yeah, like, congratulations. I know it's been a long road coming, but you got approved. When do you want to come in to view the spot, right? So I'm ecstatic. I'm like, wow, like I got the place, I'm so happy. But now the next thing is, okay, I got approved for it, but I haven't seen this place. Am I going to like this place? Now, let me give you guys a little context, right? Me and my sister, I have a lot of sisters, but the one who's my firstborn youngest sister, like she was born right after me, or the one who was born after me. Me and her are nosy. We have that in common. So we're doing Google searches. She's fully like looking on different apps and websites. We're trying to find what this place looks like. We were only able to find like 1 to 2 images of what they were saying the place looked like. And it kind of was giving like a grandma's home. Like, I don't know what I was looking at. I don't even know if that was accurate images because it wasn't, I don't know. It was just giving like, potentially this is what the apartment's going to look like. We don't know. I'm going to tell you guys this. I was not feeling it, right? I'm an aesthetic girly, if you couldn't tell by now. I like things to look a certain way. It makes me feel good when I'm in an environment that looks the way I feel like it should look, especially if it's an environment that I feel like I'm contributing to, whether it's a home, a studio, whatever, right? So I was already getting it in my mind, like, let me start looking for things to like make the little enhancements because the floors got to go, that paint on the wall got to go, like all of it, right? So let's fast forward. I go to view the place. Now, let me say this, you guys. The complex has 2 sides to it, obviously, right? You have the side that's more not into the city, right? That sounds kind of weird, but you have the side that's by the highway. You have the side that's not by the highway. I prefer it to be closer to the highway because I just felt like the side that was not by the highway was a little bit more busy with stores and everything. And I'm just like, I don't really want that. I kind of like the serenity of like maybe just traffic of cars, but that's about it. Like, I don't really want to walk outside or look outside and see like a whole bunch of hustle and bustle, right? That was the first thing. Now, the second thing was they have apartments with balconies and they have apartments without balconies. She asked me my preference and I told her what I wanted. And she was like, okay, cool. Now, let me say this, you guys. The day that she called me and she was like, let's set up the appointment for the viewing. She was like, okay, unfortunately, we don't have any of those apartments available right now. So it's either you can keep our appointment and you can view something else, or you can wait a couple weeks and then you can come view what you actually want. So I told her, I was like, I'll just wait the couple weeks because again, it's February and I'm thinking, well, if I wait the couple weeks, then I'll be moving in March anyway. So that lines up with my timeline perfectly regardless. But the lady calls me back 20 minutes later and she's like, oh, psych, plot twist. We actually have 1 unit left, 1 that matches what you asked for. I was like, okay, not a problem. So we kept the appointment. Keep in mind, I wanted to be closer to the highway, not closer to like the stores where like the hustle and bustle was. Okay, cool. So I get there. I am the first building off the highway. That's the first thing, right? Now, if you know anything about an apartment complex, right? You can live in the apartment that faces outside the complex, or you can live in the apartment where your windows face inside the complex, where you just see like if there's like a nice park or a nice like playground or like a nice garden, you'll see that view, right? I said I wanted the outside view because where I was, again, I'm the first building right off the highway, like you get to see all the view. It looks like you're not even in the city. I don't know where it looks like you're at, but it's beautiful, right? Keep this in mind. So I get upstairs, like she comes or whatever, she takes me to view, you know, the amenities in the building, stuff like that, and then we go to the unit. Also, you guys, because I'm the ideas, the memories, the recollection, it's flowing from me as I'm talking to you. I also didn't want to be in a super, super tall building. They have like, I would say most of the complex is super tall buildings, but they have very few, like you can count on probably less than one hand how many shorter buildings they have. I preferred the shorter building, but I didn't know, well, let me say this. It's not the building I preferred, it's the floor that I preferred. I didn't want to be on a super high floor, but I wanted a balcony. And the balconies for the taller buildings, they start on like the more top tier floors, like those higher floors. And I'm like, that's a little high for me, but like, you know what, your girl wants a balcony. She gonna get that balcony, right? You guys, I kid you not, the building that I went to, not only was it the first one off the highway, it was one of the shorter buildings. So there was only but so high I could go anyway, right? So I get to the place, I see the building, I'm like, okay, cool. So she takes me upstairs, and the first thing I'm thinking is, I don't really like how the hallway looks. Like, it looks a little like dated. Like, I wasn't really feeling the vibe. I'm like, I want new and modern and fresh and like just beautiful luxury. You guys, this part right here, like I need a little stomp of applause, not a round of applause, but like a little stampede of applause, because yo, I walked in this place. She turned the key. I will never forget it. She turned the key. And I walked in the place and it felt like I was in a whole different world. Like whatever the vibe of the hallway was, that old kind of dated, like it wasn't bad. It just didn't look modern. Like I like, again, aesthetics. I walked into that apartment and that place, the floors were what I wanted. Not what I saw in that picture online that me and my sister were Google searching. It was what I wanted. The paint was not only the color that I wanted, but the consistency, that texture that I wanted. The balcony was way bigger than I imagined it to be. You guys, when I tell you the place was perfect, it lined up so perfectly with everything I was saying I wanted. I wanted the balcony. Not only does my balcony face the outside with that view that I wanted, but every single window in that apartment faces that view. There's not a window I'm gonna look outside of and see what I don't want to see. I'm only going to see the view that I was telling you guys about. That's the first thing, right? The second thing is like, I don't know, the freaking closet spaces. I got 2 freaking closets in my bedroom. I ain't never grew up with 2 closets in the bedroom. I didn't even have a closet in my bedroom when I was a kid. The apartment that me and my mom had when I was little, the closets were all like in the hallways and stuff, but it wasn't in the room. And the apartment that I live in now, I got 1 closet in the room. Now I upgraded, I got 2 closets in my room. Are you freaking kidding me? You guys, now there are some minor things, because I'm still a girl of aesthetics. There are some minor things that I'm going to be upgrading just for kicks and giggles, because I like things to look how I like them to look, right? But it's not nearly what I thought I was going to have to go in there and do. I was thinking like a whole like renter's demolition, like not really like doing it as if I own the place, but like little things to make it feel like it's spruced up or whatever the case is. But you guys, I say all of that to say, I cannot freaking believe that I manifested this whole thing the way that I did. Now let me sum it up with the last and final detail. Remember my move out date was March 1st, right? So technically, because again, if you're watching this on the day that I posted, it's March 7th. She asked me, the lady, as I'm viewing it, she was like, listen, like, you have as soon as 2 weeks or as long as 30 days, to move into the place. Like, what would you prefer? And I was like 30 days, which would have been basically to March 7th. And then she was like, okay, no problem. And she was like, so I signed the paper for them to hold the unit for me, et cetera, et cetera. So officially my move-in date is today. Like if you're watching this, I'm probably moving boxes in as we speak, right? However, remember I told my uncle, I didn't tell him my move-in date. He didn't ask me what day are you looking to be moving into your new place. He said, what day are you looking to be moving out of your old place? And I said March 1st. And my move-out date is actually scheduled for March 1st. So literally to the date, plus the view, plus the balcony, plus the floors and the paint, plus the height of the building or like the floor that I'm on, you guys, like I can't make this up. Literally everything I wanted and then some did I get for this apartment. Now I have a joke for you. The only thing I wasn't focused on with this apartment was the bathroom. And believe it or not, that's the only thing in the whole apartment that I'm gonna spruce up and just make it look a little bit more of like myself or like my aesthetic and my taste. Because I find it so funny that everything I was focused on, I got. The one thing I wasn't focused on is the one thing that I have to do my own little like DIY improvements for, which is going to be quick, simple, and easy, you guys. It's not like a super, super huge bathroom. It's a nice size, but it's not going to be too much work is what I mean to say. So I think it's so funny how where your attention goes, energy flows. And I was talking about that in the last episode, episode 7, how when you focus on something, you give it momentum, you give it energy. So again, I was focused on all these details within the apartment, and all of those details that I focused on and I gave energy to, I got exactly what I wanted or better. The one detail that I didn't focus on, literally gave no energy to, is the one that I'm going to have to just put my own effort in. You know what, you guys, now that I'm thinking about it, it almost makes me feel like it's cool because I love DIY stuff. So I feel like this is the universe saying like, it's nice to move into something that's move-in ready and you don't have to do anything, but you get a kick out of like a little project. You like to do little arts and crafts things. So let me give you a little project to do and the rest you don't have to worry about. It's kind of what it feels like. It's kind of what it's giving, right? So now that I've shared, now that the cat is out the bag, now that I've spilled the tea for you guys, oh my God, right? I am kind of just wanting to like solidify and reassure you guys that like you can have the things that you want and you will have the things that you want. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the things that I did to align my energy, my mindset, my emotions with this place, with manifesting this, with the details, right? The first thing that comes to me, you guys, is the fact that I didn't put pressure on myself and I didn't have any expectations. My whole thing was like, yes, I'm applying for this, but I don't even know if I'm going to get it, honestly. Like there could be circumstances, maybe something doesn't clear with my background check. Not that I'm a criminal, you guys. I have a clean record, but like maybe they have certain standards or maybe there's a certain tax bracket or like, I'm just thinking about the different things as to maybe why it wouldn't work out. I had those things kind of in the back of my mind as a possibility. It wasn't what I focused on, but I'm aware of all things. Like there are all types of timelines that I could shift to. I could shift to a timeline where I get it for multiple reasons, or I could shift to one where I don't because maybe the universe has something better for me. But I was just very open to it's going to be what it's going to be. Like I'm not going to sit here and bank on this one opportunity because that's giving a sense of lack. It's like if it's not this, then it's not going to be anything. Like no, I said it's going to be this or it's going to be something else. Like I wasn't so caught up in like this, I need this. It was more or less like, I want this. I already know I've done enough. It's going to happen. I've decided what I'm going to do. And honestly, you guys, come March 1st, I was going to be moving out anyway. Like that was my mindset. Like I didn't care if I had a place lined up or not. I was going to be leaving because I just felt like it was the thing that I needed to do, right? I had been in my prior apartment or like, as I'm filming this is my current apartment, but as you're watching it, it's my previous apartment. But I had been there for like basically 7 years. To me, that's a little bit of a long time. Like, like I'm ready to do something new. I like to switch things up. Not every year do I feel like I should be relocating and moving, but you guys, like I feel like every couple of years, especially if you don't have your ideal apartment, for me, it's like I want to move until I get where I want to go and where I want to like actually settle, right? So that's neither here nor there. But I say that to say, I wasn't so hell-bent on it needed to be this place. That was the first thing. I had no attachment, only optimism. I felt really lucky. I felt like things were just going my way. I felt like things were just working out for me. But that was like the first mindset initially that I had. The next thing that I was doing, you guys, was from December till now, and it had nothing to do with the apartment. It was more or less just me wanting to reprogram my subconscious mind to be able to attract abundance in all forms. So I was doing what I told you guys to do. Not so much with the tapping or the nervous system regulation. I would do it, but not as much as I could have been doing it, if I'm honest. What I really focused on was subliminals. Like I'm talking about, you guys, I'm driving to work, subliminal playing in the car. I'm at work, I got a subliminal in my headphones and a subliminal on the work computer playing through the speaker. I had like two different ones going at the same time. And it was just a daily thing. Like if I'm in the shower, I'll play a subliminal from my phone off the speaker from my phone, right? As I'm going to sleep, I would have a subliminal playing on the TV as I fall asleep. I just had them going. And then what my cousin told me, because she's a subliminal queen as well, she was like, listen, subliminals and rampages, because the rampages are more active. A rampage is basically when you hear the words. A subliminal, you don't hear anything, but maybe like sounds, frequencies, things like that. There are words playing in the background, but they're not really audible. And that's why it's called subliminal, because there's still messages being delivered, but it's not meant to penetrate the conscious mind. It's meant to bypass the conscious mind and embed itself into the subconscious mind. But rampages are almost like how I'm talking to you and it's audible and you can hear me. I'll give you an example. So it's like, I'm the luckiest girl that I know. Everything's always working out for me. My life is perfect. Like I have perfect health, perfect skin, perfect hair. I have the perfect life, the perfect job. Everything is just always working out in my favor. Like the better it gets, the better it gets. That's what you would call a rampage. So my cousin told me, like, whenever you feel yourself spiraling or you feel yourself getting caught up in negativity, play a rampage, because listening to the person speak positivity, it will distract you from your thoughts, basically. So I started to incorporate those after a while. And then I would be at work with a rampage in one ear and then the subliminal on the speaker at the, for the job computer or whatever, right? But that was something that I really took seriously. Like I almost made it like a daily practice where throughout the day, like I wasn't even, it got to a point, you guys, where if it wasn't a podcast or subliminal, then it was nothing. It was silence, because I didn't even feel called to listen to music. Like the only thing I wanted to flood my mind and my ears and like my consciousness was the things that I wanted to have in that space. So I was very intentional about that. And I would say, let's say from December till now, it's February as I'm filming this. That's a solid, like you could call it 2.5 months of me just like putting things into my subconscious mind, right? The next thing that I did, you guys, and this wasn't intentional either, it just was something I felt called to do. My mantra on a daily became, I'm the luckiest girl that I know. Like I just would say it to myself, like, and I would use little things as an example. So let's say like I have a lighter right here, right? Let's say I go to put it on the table and I almost drop it. Like I lose the grip on the lighter, it falls, it's looking like it's about to hit the floor, but it lands right at the edge of the table and it doesn't hit the floor. It'll be something like that. And I'll look at that little incident and say, I'm the luckiest girl that I know. That lighter could have dropped on the floor and it landed right at the edge and it didn't continue after that. Like if that's not luck, I don't know what is, because it could have dropped. There's times, you guys. Now, if anybody knows me, me and glass, we have a love-hate relationship. I think glass is beautiful. Glass thinks that I'm clumsy, right? Because I'm always dropping glass. But there was a time recently where I had a mug and I was unloading my, not the dishwasher, what do you call that? The dish rack, right? After you dry your dishes. I was unloading it and I almost dropped my glass mug or porcelain mug, but it cracks the same way that glass does. And I was able to lean against the counter and catch it like almost like with my stomach, if that makes sense. Crazy. But it was like a real, like, it's either this thing's going to drop and it's going to fall apart, or you're going to catch this because you're a lucky girl. And guess what? I caught it because I'm the luckiest girl that I know. You see what I'm saying? So it was little things like that where it was almost like proof that I was using to reinforce the mantra. And it could have been anything. Let's say I'm driving and somebody cuts me off and I was able to catch it before I hit the back of their car, because people in New York are crazy, right? I would be like, oh my God, universe, thank you for keeping me safe. I'm the luckiest girl that I know, because other people probably would have crashed. I didn't crash because I'm a lucky girl. I started using real life examples to validate the mantra. And it wasn't something, again, that I was doing intentionally. It wasn't something I was doing to be like, oh my God, I just want to say I'm lucky. Let me look for proof. Like, no, I just felt called to do it. So I did it. It was almost like a natural process for me. So those things, in addition to, I would say one last thing, right? Now, you guys know how I always say your subconscious mind is always the most active and receptive when you first wake up and when you are falling asleep and you're going to bed, right? So what I started doing was impregnating my subconscious mind at those times, especially recently, with one specific mantra. As I'm falling asleep, I would say, I am existing in my, no, let me clarify. Because yes, I'm existing, but I had an affirmation phrase before the I am. Because I learned something, you guys. Different phrases correlate to different chakras, and they correlate to different levels of spirituality, different levels of consciousness. I am is a root chakra mantra. I feel is your sacral. I will is your solar. I love is your heart. I speak is your throat. I want to say it's I see, and then I understand. For the I see is the third eye, and the I understand is the crown chakra, right? So when you want to think about spiritual energy, to me, I am is nice because it roots you and it makes you feel secure. But I don't feel like the momentum of manifestation really happens with I am. This is my opinion. Once I learned that I understand was tied to the crown chakra, what I started saying as I was falling asleep was, I understand that I am living in my highest vibrational timeline. And I would loop that over and over in my mind as I'm drifting off to sleep with the subliminal playing in the background, right? Then I would wake up. And the first thing I would say is, I understand that I've woken up in my highest vibrational timeline, or I understand that I have now woken up in my highest vibrational timeline. So I'm acknowledging that as I woke up today, I woke up in a whole different timeline. And I started doing that, I would say, like within the last 2 weeks, you guys, and the way that it's manifesting for me, it's crazy. It's just little things. It's little things. And I feel like the little things show you where the gratitude really needs to come in, because I feel like a lot of us as human beings, we look for the big reasons to be grateful. We look for the car, the money, the job, the opportunities. But what about, like I said, I could have dropped the mug and I didn't. And I was so grateful because I acknowledged myself to be the luckiest girl that I know. I'm grateful for the universe proving me right. I'm the luckiest girl that I know. And I just saw living valid proof of that. You guys, I say this to say this, right? You can and you will. You got to pick what feels right for you. Maybe your mantra isn't, I'm the luckiest person that I know. Maybe you feel like luck is too far-fetched and your mind just doesn't resonate with it, right? But you could say, I'm the most abundant person that I know. I'm the wealthiest person that I know. Because abundance and wealth are not just money. If you're wealthy, what do they say? Health is wealth, right? That's the first primary form of wealth, because without your health, what is money? Without your health, what is opportunity? Without your health, what is a job? You can't enjoy or really thrive in any of those things if your body is not in tip-top shape and your vessel is not, performing at its best, or at least close to. So when you say things like this, like I'm wealthy, I'm abundant, I'm lucky, I'm highly favored, everything works out for me. Believe it or not, you guys, all you have to do is speak it into your mind over and over enough for your subconscious mind to receive it. It's going to start to root out all of the things that contradict that mantra or those mantras. And it's beautiful, you guys, because what I really, really love about this success story, and I know I don't share a lot of them with you guys. I have a few from clients as well, but I like to give you guys the practical ways to get things done. But today I felt like we would wrap up season 1. I was going to say season 2. Season 2 coming soon. Look out for that. But I felt like it would be a really good way to wrap up season 1 by telling you guys like how I felt like I could, and then I ended up doing it. Like it happened. And what I really love, this is what I was going to say earlier, what I really love about this manifestation story in particular is that I didn't have to lift a finger. Initially, I planted the seed in 2016 to apply for this place. Having forgot about it, having not thought about it for years, not months and weeks, but years, I made up my mind that there was something I was going to do, and the universe saw how serious I was. I didn't have to try to convince myself. I didn't have to try to convince the universe. I didn't even have to try to convince my uncle. My uncle asked me, I told him the date. He said, okay, let's lock it in. Let's figure it out. The next day, the universe said, boop, there you go, right into your lap. A nice little golden egg. How you feel about that? And I felt like the luckiest girl in the world, because I'm going to keep reinforcing that, you guys. You know what's so funny? I have a friend, and we hung out a couple times recently. And I had been saying my mantra around her. And, she's a spiritual girlie, so she gets it. The spiritual girlies, they get it. So she was like, wow, Sakara, you're a lucky girl, right? She was just kind of like reinforce it with me for like jokes, kicks, and giggles, whatever. But there was one day we were hanging out, and she just started noticing how things were lining up. Like everything from getting a parking spot right in front of the place we had to go, just little things. She was like, Sakara, wait, you are pretty lucky. Like I'm starting to see it, But recently I was talking to her on the phone, and she had been seeing everything that had been playing out for me. And she's like, Sakara, I'm not going to lie. I'm officially convinced that you are the luckiest girl that I know. Like, you are a lucky girl. To the point where she told me, like, you would be so proud of me because I put on a lucky girl subliminal the other day. And I was like, I'm so proud of you. And she told me, like, the next day after she watched it or she listened to it, something good happened for her too. So I'm like, listen, it's all about impregnating that subconscious mind. You want to plant those seeds in there, because I'm telling you, whatever springs forth, whatever grows from that seed that you plant, it's going to knock all those other things that contradict it out the way. It's like a plant sprouting forth, and let's say there's some things in the way as the roots push through, and that what do you call that? The stalk or like the trunk, it pushes through, it's moving all those other things out the way. You guys, choose your mantra and choose it wisely, and make sure that even when things are not going well, you stick to it. Because when I would see things that would like worry me, let's say something at work is going on and I'm a little concerned, or I feel like, maybe I'm running late for something and I don't know if I would always say I'm the luckiest girl in the world. You guys, you know how many times I was late for something and I realized like everybody else ended up being late because maybe there was traffic, maybe it was the weather conditions, whatever. Like I would think like, oh my God, I'm going to be the only person late to this event, or whatever the case is. I would say to myself, but you know what? I'm literally the luckiest girl that I know, so it's going to work out for me regardless. And it turns out I'll probably be one of the first people to show up to the place because everybody else was running late as well. Like, it's all about your mindset. If there's anything that you guys got from season 1, is that your mindset creates your reality. That paired with your emotions is going to manifest things into your reality. Like, as a man thinketh, so is he. You guys know I'm always quoting the Bible, and I come with the scriptures because that book, although it's highly misinterpreted, there are some serious gems that if you let it will go right over your head. You guys, believe me when I say this. This is only the beginning. 2025 is a beautiful year. I was talking to you guys last week or last episode about being careful about where you give your energy, because we are right now in that split between 3D and 5D. And you guys, I'm not going to lie. I thought to myself, like, if I choose to stay where I'm at and just, renew the lease and just thug it out, I felt like I was almost choosing 3D, because all of the reasons that I had to stay in this current apartment was based in lack and limitation and fear. This new apartment it's new for me. It's in a new neighborhood. It's the first time that I'm honestly going to be living on my own as an adult. So there are so many factors that could contribute to me feeling intimidated or overwhelmed. But it also felt like such a powerful move to make, because it was pushing me in the direction of a new start, a new chapter for myself. And the universe it's like the universe showed me, like, not only does, your mindset contribute to the shift between the 3D and 5D, but your choices do too, because those are a reflection of your mindset and your energy as a whole. Are you choosing fear, or are you choosing excitement and adventure? Are you choosing to live in lack, or are you choosing to live in abundance? Are you thinking worst case scenario, or are you thinking best case scenario? And that's what I want you guys to focus on. It's not about, what makes logical sense. Well, if I do this, I don't know how I'm going to make this work. Because you guys, honestly, I was thinking like, I'm moving into this place. I don't have any furniture. I don't have anything to start with. Like, it's bare bones. It's a freaking floor and some walls. Like, that's what we're talking about here. However, my mindset just feels so optimistic. Like, come hell or high water, this place is going to get furnished, and it's going to get furnished quickly. I'm not even saying, it's going to take the whole first year to get no, it's going to get furnished, and it's going to get furnished quickly. I'm giving myself 1 month to get everything that I want. And I know I can have it, because guess what? I can, and I will. And I want you guys to start using this. Use these tools, these methodologies, even these stories, right, as fuel for yourself, that even when it seems impossible, even when it seems like, because let me tell you this too, you guys, trying to look for an apartment in New York on your own, if you're not in a certain tax bracket, that thing feels like a mystery and a mission all in one. It's a myth. It's like, what are you talking about? Move where? You got a roommate, you got 2 roommates because you're going to need it. That's kind of the vibe here, right? However, look how the universe aligned it to where I was lucky enough to get an apartment that is beyond affordable for me. And it's just working out, because everything works out for me, because I'm the luckiest girl that I know. I'm going to keep saying it. Hopefully, if you're listening to this, you're watching, you're taking it in, you're going to start saying something similar to that, or creating your own mantra around that for yourself. Because you guys, I'm telling you, it's as simple as just reframing your mind and being patient with yourself. Don't try to say a mantra for 1 week straight and think that your whole life is going to change overnight. For some of you, it can. It depends on your level of resistance, and that's a whole other thing. But if you're like me and you have some resistance, it's going to maybe take a little bit for your mind to override that resistance and only focus on being abundant, only focus on being worthy of, wealth, and like feeling like you deserve the good things that life has to offer. You guys, I love you so much. I feel like I have shared all the things in season 1 that I can think to share at this time. And I really love this episode, because I want you guys to have real life proof from a person who came from not being able to manifest anything consciously and intentionally to being able to manifest little things and now a big thing. And there's another one coming, another manifestation coming, and I feel it. And I'm not going to talk about it until it happens. But when it happens, season 2, you guys will be hearing about it. I feel like this apartment and this next manifestation are almost lumped together. I just feel like the universe has that idea in my mind and on my heart. I just feel like, Sakira, once you move, this next thing's coming right after smack dab. Like it's guaranteed is what it feels like. Because guess what? I'm the luckiest girl that I know. I've done enough and everything's always working out for me. You guys, examples of how I correlate my mind to everything that I'm thinking about. I keep rambling because I just want you guys to just understand the magnitude of how powerful you are. You are fucking powerful. You are God in the human form. You are God having a human experience. If you don't conceptualize that, then we got some more discussing to do. We got some more talking to do. But you guys, I'm going to end this right here. I hope that this is inspiring. You know, it's my intention that this clicks for you and that those of you who resonate with this, you wake up tomorrow and you feel like you're in the most highest vibrational timeline that you possibly can manifest. And you just start to see evidence of it from there. Because you can and you will. And I love you guys so much. And until season 2, because season 1 is officially complete. Yay. I love you guys. Peace out.